In the late 19th century, the United States transformed faster than any nation in its history. Railroads stretched across the continent, factories filled cities, and fortunes appeared almost overnight. To many Americans, this era looked like progress. But beneath the wealth and innovation, a quieter story was unfolding, one in which big business steadily took control of the nation's economy, politics, and daily life. After the Civil War, America entered what became known as the Gilded Age. Industry exploded as new technologies changed how goods were produced and transported. Steel, oil, railroads, and finance became the backbone of the modern economy. Entrepreneurs like John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, and J.P. Morgan built enormous companies that operated on a scale never seen before. These men were often praised as self-made heroes. In reality, their success depended on more than hard work. They used aggressive tactics to crush competition. Railroads offered secret rebates to favored companies. Trusts were created to eliminate rivals and control prices. Small businesses simply could not compete with corporations that could dictate market terms. As wealth concentrated at the top, inequality widened. Factory workers labored long hours for low pay and dangerous conditions. Child labor was common. Labor unions formed to demand safer workplaces and fair wages, but corporations fought back with force. Strikes were broken by private security police, and sometimes the U.S. Army. Big business and government interests often stood on the same side. Politics soon followed money. Corporate leaders used their wealth to influence lawmakers, fund campaigns, and shape legislation. Regulators were often former executives or hopeful future ones. Laws meant to protect workers or consumers were weak or ignored. The idea of a free market increasingly masked a system controlled by powerful interests. Railroads provided a clear example. They determined which towns thrived and which died by controlling shipping rates. Farmers depended on rail access to sell crops, yet they were charged high fees that pushed many into debt. Protests erupted across the Midwest, but reform came slowly and reluctantly. Oil followed a similar pattern. Rockefeller's Standard Oil controlled nearly 90% of oil refining at its peak. By controlling production, transportation, and pricing, the company eliminated competition and dominated the energy market. Consumers paid prices set not by supply and demand, but by corporate strategy. Public backlash grew. Journalists known as muckrakers exposed corruption and abuse. Writers like Ida Tarbell revealed how monopolies operated behind closed doors. Their work helped shift public opinion against unchecked corporate power. In response, the federal government began to act cautiously. The Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890 aimed to break up monopolies, but enforcement was weak at first. Courts often sided with corporations, arguing that regulation interfered with business freedom. Still, the idea that big business could be challenged had entered American politics. The Progressive Era brought stronger reforms. Presidents like Theodore Roosevelt used antitrust laws to break up trusts and regulate industries. Food safety laws, labor protections, and banking reforms followed. Yet even as reforms advanced, corporate power adapted rather than disappeared. By the early 20th century, big business had become embedded in American life. Corporations shaped consumption, employment, and culture. Advertising influenced behavior. Mass production defined daily routines. The economy now revolved around institutions too large to fail. The takeover was not sudden or secret. It happened gradually, through legal systems, political influence, and economic pressure. Big business did not overthrow democracy, reshaped it. Power shifted from individuals and small communities to boardrooms and shareholders. Today, the legacy remains. Debates over corporate influence, monopolies, and inequality echo those of the Gilded Age. Understanding how big business took over America is not just about the past, it is about recognizing patterns that still shape the nation. The rise of big business brought prosperity, innovation, and global power. But it also revealed a truth that Americans continue to wrestle with. When economic power concentrates, democracy itself is tested. The story of big business is not one of pure progress or pure corruption. It is the story of how power works in America.